Hey group hosts!
Hey guys, welcome to the first week of your training videos. Again, this video really is designed to help equip you to really answer some questions that group leaders are asking. This week what we're tackling is, it's your first week of group, what do I do? And if you haven't met, this is my wife Jay.
Hey,
Jay is actually the group leader of our family. Most of the groups I've been in are Jay's leading, so everything I know, I kind of learned from you.
Yeah.
Any way I mess up, it's also her fault. So it's a double-edged sword on that one, sorry. So we're going to be talking about, kind of things that we do our first night of group, not just that night, but even leading into it. And so Jay, maybe some of these people are brand new at hosting a group. Maybe they've done it before. For you, what are some things you do, maybe leading into that first night?
Yeah, so just whether it's a day or two before, I send out a couple text reminders, just making sure it's in the back of people's mind, but that it's coming up soon. So whether it's a save the date, hey, it's coming up tomorrow, I'm excited to see you, or are you coming because you haven't heard back from them? I just send, whether it's a text, a call, Facebook message, any of that.
Yeah, and I know sometimes you might think like, hey, I invited 8 people, so 8 people are going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we found is actually maybe half the people do. So if we're hoping 12 people show up to our group, we might invite 25.
Yeah.
And you might be like, my house won't hold 25. Ours definitely will not hold 25. What we know though is like people are busy, it doesn't work out for everyone's schedule. So maybe invite more than you expect to come.
Yeah, I would, because on that same day, they might cancel on you or get
that's
scared.
good.
I don't know.
You've done something before that I think is brilliant. You ask people to play a part kind of in that first night. So you might say, hey, I'm excited for you to come. Can you bring a drink or can you bring some food? What's the idea behind that?
Yeah, so if some people are showing up earlier than you expected, I just ask for them to, whether that's bring something to the table that they can share, a snack, also just greet at the door, so it'll give you time to prepare whatever else last minute you didn't prepare in your house. Or, let's say you're talking to other new guests to your group, that other person can be continuing greeting people at the door, showing where to put their bags, their coats, all that stuff.
That's good.
Yeah.
I know something for us that we try doing before a group launches is really identify a co-host. I encourage you, maybe you have someone you're doing group with. A co-host is so helpful.
Yeah.
I was talking to a lady who's leading a group. She led it last season. She's doing it again this season. She was like, man, we didn't have a group co-host last season, and we really struggled. She said it was hard to pour out to that many people without having another person to walk through that with us. So for you, like identify a co-host, ask them to get there early, talk a little beforehand. I know we've made like Facebook groups before, group text messages, whatever it is to help remind people that group's coming, I think really helps people a ton.
Yeah, and I think, while they're showing up, it might be even a good icebreaker to ask what's their best mode of communication. Because not everyone has a Facebook, not everyone checks their email. Some might not even want a call.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's always nice to just kind of go around the room, get to know where everyone's at, get to know what's the best mode of communication for everyone. So that way you're not spamming just all in a group message.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm at group. House has already been cleaned. People are showing up. Shoes are off. Big thing in our house. What does that moment now look like? What are things that you've done as a group leader? You're meeting people. We've used the term icebreakers or get people's info. Like, what does that first, 15 minutes look like for you?
I think, all else fails, just start with prayer. I think that's just a huge uniter piece that kind of breaks down barriers, is starting the group off with prayer, getting to know, after you've gone through names and an icebreaker question. I think the next go around would also just be going over some ground rules, because I think a lot of times people come in not knowing if they can, maybe they might be even a little skeptical of groups and not really trusting with
That's
people.
good.
So
Yeah.
I think the best thing to do is remind people, of people's, what they share in group stays in the group. And so sharing that piece of confidentiality.
Yeah, that's good.
And also that we're a family.
Yeah.
So some of those expectations, and if, Carson, if I don't know what kind of boundaries or expectations or ground rules I should have in group. Where can I find those?
Yeah, we'll have a few of those in the group questions that first week of really, what are you hoping your group looks like? I had a group leader this last season say they went around the circle and everyone shared what do they want to happen in this group season. And they constantly reminded people of that. So one of them said, I hope I make deeper friendships. And every week that group host said, hey, have you made deeper friendships yet? Or someone said, I want to, love my spouse better. Awesome. How are you doing that this week? So it'd be fun to kind of lay out expectations, ground rules. Hey, what are you hoping for personally? I know for you and I, we pass around a book that like, hey, put your contact info in that. We want to make sure we're, reaching you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be necessarily an attendance sheet, but really just helps you know how to get a hold of people. And Jay, you said it. You start with prayer, end with prayer. Groups normally last, an hour, hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes, depending on. We love leaving time at the end for people to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel like you have to rush anything, but if you're keeping the back of your head, some groups, the longer they go, people start looking at their clocks. And so hour and a half or so is great, but whatever it feels like in the moment for your group to be aiming for. And Jay, you said it, end it with prayer, wish everyone the best, and find a way to keep in contact throughout the rest of the week. I think that's been powerful for us is
Check
really,
in with
check
them.
in,
Yeah.
say, hey, I love that you came to the group, can't wait for next week. And then you're done. Your first week is already done. You're 1/13 of the way through this group season. That sounded more discouraging than I meant it to. It'll be a blast, I promise. And so,
Also, you never know with people's next steps. So I think for them to come back and feel like, oh yeah, I'm all bought in, after a couple of weeks, is just starting to end the group season too with a next step in mind. Because if it weren't for our group season and talking about next steps, we wouldn't have gone to Africa with a kids camp.
Absolutely.
It all was born from a group.
Yeah, be asking people, what's your next step coming out of this group season and how can we help with that? So I'm excited for your first night of groups. If you need help with anything, make sure to contact us at groups@newlife.tv. We'd love to help with anything. Make sure you have the resources, get you up and running. We're praying for you this week. We're excited, and we'll see you guys soon.